Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Recruiting Thursday here on the Westmoreland Sports Network, where we highlight local athletes who have made the decision to play sports at the collegiate level. And today we have Hempfield track and field standout and recent Duquesne commit, Capri DeCaro. Capri, great to get you on WSN today. First off, congrats on your recent commitment. How does it feel to make that decision?
Thank you. It's really good. I'm very relieved. I'm glad I don't have to stress about it anymore. So yeah, it feels really good.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely one less thing for you to have to worry about, especially with it being your senior year. Now, I want to dive into why you decided on Duquesne. I mean, what was the reason for wanting to stay local? And then also, what will you be majoring in there?
Okay, so I chose Duquesne because I love the city, and I visited there and I met the coaches, and the coaches were great. The whole facility, their whole program, everything was so great. And I visited a couple other schools, but I like Duquesne the best. And, I feel like it's far enough from home where it's not right in Greensburg, but it's also close enough where if there's an emergency, your parents are right there. So yeah, and I think I'm going to be majoring in a health science, exercise science type major, because I don't know what I want to do yet. I applied undecided, but that's what I'm interested in. So I'm basically just seeing where it takes me,
Well, that's great. And I think it's awesome that, you found that kind of home away from home, if you will, where you're, like you said, not too far away, but, you're around a city a little bit. So you kind of get a little bit of a new experience, if you will. Now, I want to dive into last year's season because you had a tremendous season. And I want to get into kind of the preseason going into that year. What did you want to focus on going into your junior season? And then also when you were coming into your junior season, I mean, was running and jumping at the collegiate level even an option for you, or at least on your horizon?
Right. It wasn't at all. I did not expect to do as good as I did. I just wanted, I wanted to try the 100-meter dash that I've never done before, sprint a little bit, which I think helped me a lot. And I did want to focus on triple jump because I knew that it was one of my better, events. So I just focused on that. And I started off pretty good, but I just kept getting better and better, which was very unexpected. So then my coach started talking you're doing really well. Do you think you want to continue this in college? And at first I was I don't know, I never really planned on it. But then I, qualified for states, got second in the Whitfield, and I was it'd be really cool if I could just keep doing this, keep doing so well. So yeah, that's pretty much how it happened.
Now, was there a certain point last year where things kind of clicked for you? And I mean, I know that kind of instance with your coach, but was there any other situations where you kind of had a little moment to yourself where you said, I can do this at the next level?
Yeah. So one of my meets, I used to jump 34, and then one of my meets, I went up to 35, and then the next 36. And once I hit 36 and I won and I got first in the county, I was wow. I just keep getting better. And I was I think I can jump farther. If I keep lifting, keep training, I was I think I can go farther. So I continued to go farther. And then I placed 6th at states, which was awesome. It was so awesome.
Yeah, you did tremendous last year during the PIAA Championships. And I want to ask kind of when you're going up against that other state competition throughout the entire state of Pennsylvania, and you were doing so well. I mean, how reassuring was that you kind of had that moment where you said, I can definitely do this. And then all of a sudden that's kind of reaffirmed for you when you go to states.
Yeah. So I was very nervous going into states, because I never went before and I didn't know exactly what to expect. But everyone that is jumping as far as me, it just made me more determined to beat them. And I barely qualified for finals because I scratched twice. So I basically had one more jump left or I was not going to place. So I was I need to do this. I was I need to do this in order to place. And I ended up getting 37. And I thought I got 8th at the most, but I ended up getting 6th. So it was it was so awesome. And it just I was upset that it ended because I just wanted to keep going, keep trying to jump farther.
Yeah, well, I think it's great that you kind of had those moments where you said, you know what, this is definitely something that I can take to the next level. And you had all those different situations that kind of reaffirmed it for you. Now, you're also a basketball player. And I want to ask kind of how basketball and then also, you in track and field, especially with jumping, how has that been able to kind of correlate and kind of relate to one another?
Yeah, so I love basketball, but it is like completely different than track. So I'm a guard, so I don't do too much like, like I don't jump the ball. I don't like, I try to rebound, as I should, but, I'm not that big on that type of thing. But, speed was like a big part of basketball, and my speed helped me out so much. And that's kind of what led me to like thinking, I could do track was from playing basketball and, that speed and change in direction. So that just like helped me with track. And like obviously going into track for basketball, it's like a whole different level. Track is 10 times harder, running wise. But the whole sprinting, at least I was in shape from basketball. It's completely different, but it helped. It has helped a lot.
Yeah, I think that once you kind of start to hear from people that play multiple sports, you really find out that there's actually a lot of differences in the different sports that
Yeah.
people play. It's not as, relatable as one would think. Now, unfortunately, you couldn't play basketball this year because you suffered an injury last year.
Yeah.
How hard was it finding out that you weren't going to be able to compete this year?
Yeah, so it's definitely hard, because I love basketball, and an ACL injury is like one of the worst. But I was still there, still part of the team. And on senior night, I got to go on the court and hit a shot. So that like kind of kept me going, looking forward to senior night. And I wanted to try to get back for at least one game, but you shouldn't risk it just to, because considering like my future is track and not basketball. So but my team, I was there with my team, and it was great, even though, it was a rough time. But now, I'm just ready to get back to track, and I'm glad I at least have a season for that. It's definitely made me mentally tougher and helped me out a lot. So
How have you stayed involved with the team with you not being able to play this year?
I went to most of the practices, tried to like help out the team with like coaching wise and stuff like that. So I went to all the practices, all the games, everything like that. So
Well, that's great. That's great that you were still able to be around the team and be a part of the team, even though you couldn't play this year. I want to hear a
right.
little bit about the recovery process for your ACL injury. I mean, what's that been like? And then also, when do you expect to be, fully back and on the track?
So yeah, so I got surgery in September, and you got to work on bending your knee right after surgery. So that's where it started with, and then it slowly got into like mobility and like kind of elliptical, like not running, just like elliptical. So now I'm progressing into running. After it was started at like 4.5, 5 months, I started running. So soon, probably like mid-March, I'll start jumping. And I hope to be back like end of March. I'll be on the track. So I'm gonna work with my trainer, start jumping, do more running workouts, and hopefully I'll be good by end of March.
Well, it's very exciting that you're going to have, I mean, it's right there, right? I mean, we're literally
Right.
technically today, it's, the end of February. I mean, March starts
Right.
next week. So, you have about a month away. So that's got to be very exciting for you. I'm sure this injury has taught you quite a bit. I know you mentioned a little bit about the mental toughness that it's kind of forced you to have. What has this injury taught you about sports that you feel has prepared you for jumping at the next level in college?
Right. So especially not having a basketball season, it just like makes you think like play every game like it's your last, every event, do everything like it's your last, give it your all. Like I never would have thought that our playoff game at Butler my junior year would be like my last actual basketball game ever. So like, it's hard to think like, you just go out there and do your best because you never know, like something like tearing your ACL could just like end it or like give you a big setback. So, just made me want to, when I start jumping, jump as far as you can, do it as if you might not be able to ever again.
Well, it's a great mentality to definitely have, and it's exciting that
Right.
you're going to be able to, get back out on the track and get back to what you love to do. And it's been great to
Yeah.
have you today on WSN on Recruiting Thursday. But before we let you go, I have one final question, and I just want to hear from you kind of going into next year, going into college and, running and jumping at Duquesne. What do you want to work on the most to try and help yourself kind of take your game to the next level?
I want to work like, on speed, the agility, just like keep working, lifting more, doing what I do, like, the best, and just like doing it more and like help in, enhancing it and like work with the new coaches. I'm excited to have new teammates, build the bond with the new teammates, new roommates. So that's what I hope to do, and hopefully it goes well.
That's awesome. Well, very, very exciting. And again, congratulations and good luck with the rest of your recovery, but also good luck with the upcoming track season, my friend, and have a wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful rest of your senior year as well.
Yes, thank you so much.